All right. What's up, amazing people? What an exciting time to be alive. It's 9 a.m. on Wednesday here in Thailand, in the future a little bit. And excited for today's live because there's so much great stuff happening. We're creating our reality. And when we get excited and we share and mirror these tools, amazing things happen because we're creating our reality. And so today's topic is mastering the creation of your reality. And we're going to have some fun. I have a guest, my dear friend Barrett Tunian, who's in Bulgaria right now. I believe it's 5 a.m. his time, so he'll probably be showing up in a little bit. And we're going to talk about a couple things that are very valuable to be aware of in our conscious awareness. And one of my favorite words is curiosity, being curious. Because being curious opens up pathways for the observer. Being curious is neutral. Being curious is not judgmental, it's not negative, it's not reactive, it's observing. And when we can check in with ourselves and practice observing where our frequency is in every moment and be able to feel when it's a little bit off and just come back. It's just a practice, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. And with the incredible energies that are coming into the planet right now, we're receiving so much assistance, and you can see it everywhere you look. You can see people are waking up, things are being exposed, things are being cleared from the planet. And how does it get any better than that? I mean, we've been waiting thousands of years, and we came here for this special time. So I'm all for starting the party, and it's how I begin my day every single morning when I realize that I just woke up out of what we call the sleeping dream, because we're dreaming right now. We're dreaming all the time. And when we become aware that it all comes down to, where's my frequency right now? Where's my focus? And yeah, we can get triggered. You know, things are coming up to be cleared. I got triggered big time a couple times this week. And so it's not about judging ourselves and beating ourselves up when we get triggered or have a low vibrational thought or a judgment. It's about learning to feel the frequency of that, which is low, and just simply, smiling and going, okay, I'm going to take a couple breaths and stop, the ego from running its reactive story or projecting of what somebody's doing to you or what they're doing, and just coming back to center and going, okay, so I got a little bit triggered. So what is this trying to show me or teach me about me? It's always about me. And that's not about ego. It's about we're creating this dream and this reality. And when we finally accept 100% responsibility for that, and we wake up every single morning and we consciously envision and imagine anything we desire is already here now, never in the future. That's the trick of the 3D hologram, which is reversed. It's like, most people are like, well, I'll see it when I believe it. Well, that's the weakest 3D matrix statement ever. You believe it, you feel it, you know it, and then you see it. And it's just a matter of practicing this stuff. Let me go to my page here and pull this up. Hey, Louis, it's great to see you, brother. This is a Q&A, so if anybody has any questions, we're going to dive into the tools of pattern interrupting, really, really consciously creating. Oh, Jelf, yeah. It's difficult for me, brother, because that's not what it says on your name, so I apologize for that. My brother Jelf. All right, so While we're waiting for Barrett here, we're going to talk about spell words. We're going to talk about pattern interrupting automatics. So many people are just running on automatic reaction mode. And that's just going to keep creating the same dramas or unwanted timelines or realities showing up. So the key is to, what we're basically doing here is we're learning to consciously create our reality through tracking the vibration of our thoughts, our words, our internal frequency and vibration, and really getting into gratitude and excitement. Those are two of the highest frequencies. And since we are walking, talking, vibrating magnets, then the only game in town is conscious awareness and what is my internal magnet set to? Am I waking up every morning and no matter what's running through my mind, breathing slowly while I'm lying there in bed and just loving on every cell of my body that's serving me in every moment unconditionally without me even having to think about it? I mean, when we really tune in to how incredible this vehicle is, this is the most incredible vehicle that was ever created, ever. It's way beyond any med bed, healing bed, Tesla, technology, computer. This is it right here. This is the most magical thing that has ever been created, or certainly one of them. Mother Earth is my other favorite because she's just pushing love and abundance and fruits and vegetables and flowers and birds and animals. I mean, every day I go out here in Thailand and I'm in heaven. I'm surrounded. And wherever we are, we're surrounded by magic and miracles. It's just a matter of where's our focus. So let me refresh my page here real quick while we're waiting for Barrett. If anybody has any questions, if anything's coming up for you, what about this? What about that? We're really not, focusing on pointing out all the stuff that the dark winds are doing. That's already all that stuff is being cleared from the planet right now. Trust in that. And if you say, well, I don't see any proof and I'm waiting, then use the power of your thoughts to create your reality where you see that you focus on everybody's living in harmony. Everybody's abundant. Everybody's healthy. There's free energy. There's healthy food everywhere. All of the corporations that are selling all the poisonous food and all their products they're slowly dissolving. It's happening. And you're playing your role because you're deciding what to focus on, and what you focus on is what you will attract more of into your reality. You're magnetizing all of these timelines right here. So there's my brother Barrett, so I'm going to bring him on. Good morning, brother. How are you? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me? Oh, okay. So we have a little technical difficulties here, and we'll just roll with it. Anybody listening right now on the live, just pop in a yes if you can hear me. I'm sure you can, or somebody would have said, we can't hear you. But just pop in a quick yes if you can hear me. Maybe my audio went out. Can you guys hear me? Okay, thank you, Cindy. Cool. Okay. So, hey, Barrett, you're there, brother. You're live. I don't know why you can't hear me. Okay. So that's all right. So we'll just continue. I had a beautiful conversation with Barrett yesterday, and we were able to hear you perfectly. So anyway, so we'll just continue. Yeah. So we roll with it. So we all set our intention that Barrett can hear us because he's got some wonderful questions and things to share with us. And yeah. All right. So again, this is a Q&A, and this is really all about becoming curious, becoming the conscious observer, and getting excited about why we're here. So do we focus and talk more about all the bad things that are out there, or do we spend our time in really wonderful, uplifting conversations with people speaking about that which we are excited about, that which we know is coming because we're focusing on it? Everywhere that you look on the internet, you see that. Hang on just one second. I'm sending a message here to Barrett. Okay. So we're going to have Barrett try and come back in. Okay. Okay, everybody, thank you for bearing with us. We'll get rolling here. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in. What it does is it really opens things up. I don't know why it is, but a lot of times people wait to ask a question. And as soon as they do, everybody else they just feel like freed, like it's open season. So it's open season already. Hey, brother, good morning. Can you hear me? No? Okay. Well, not sure what's up with that. So don't know what to do. I guess we'll have to reschedule because people can hear me. So I can't end the broadcast right now. So, okay. So it's okay. We love you. Everybody send Barrett a bunch of love. We'll catch up to him soon. All right. So, all right. So let's go into some notes here. So consciously creating our reality. What is our number one tool for that? Conscious awareness. Conscious awareness. Being aware of your thoughts and your words and what you're projecting onto the field. Does anybody have any questions around that? Like, it seems really simple once you get it, but what is happening with a lot of people right now is because those that have been controlling this matrix for so many thousands of years, you can see that they're ramping up the distractions. It's one distraction after another. And you can see it. You can see it coming. It's like the next thing, okay? All of a sudden there's no baby food. What? I don't even understand that, how that's possible. But Bill Gates has a patent on all this new I mean, it's actually in a way comical if people weren't being harmed. But the beautiful thing is to be excited about is, and yes, I'm not being non-sympathetic to anybody that's going through pain or suffering right now. However, if you look at the bigger picture and you zoom out, you can see that this is what it's taken to wake people up, because otherwise they're just not going to wake up. They're like, they don't want to believe anything that challenges their belief system. And the majority of people's belief system, number one, Your beliefs aren't even your own. That was the biggest mind-blowing aha moment, one of them, that I got when I started studying with my mentor, Don Miguel Ruiz, in 2001. When he had us write out all our beliefs in a journal, and I was like, none of these are even mine. None of them. They all came from my parents, my grandparents, the school system, religion. I was in Catholic school. Many of you know the story. But this is really key to see when we start to get triggered because new information comes in. Because check this out. This is really key. Our opinion has no place in deciding if new knowledge is valid or not. Since the knowledge is new and it falls outside of our current belief system, unless you have the awareness to go, okay, isn't that interesting? I've developed my awareness to feel the trigger of my ego goes, well, that's going against my belief system, so I might need to react and, claim why that's not true. Well, that keeps everybody locked in a tiny, tiny, tiny little prison, because the belief system is really that. It's a tiny, tiny prison. Our beliefs, even if you're like super smart, wouldn't even fit on the head of a tiny pin. And you've got all this out there, and multiply this all around you. That's just a little background behind me. But the vastness of information and things that are already available would blow your mind. Your mind would explode with excitement and awe. And so we must be willing to, hey, Cindy, yeah, I'll get to that. Thank you for your question. I love it. Okay? So, when you guys ask questions, and I use the term guys very lightly, because obviously everybody's not a guy, but it opens up space for everybody to go a little bit deeper. And, the main key is to remain curious and to ask yourself, is there anything that I'm being invited to look at within my belief system, within the vibration of my body? Is there anything that needs to be healed, either physically or mentally or energetically? Have I forgiven everybody? Or do I still tell a story about how people did things wrong to me? Because that's the trap that's going to keep your vibration stuck in 3D and looping. Okay? So one of the biggest parts of this whole journey, in fact, it's the first part of the Waking Up in the Dream course, is inner healing. It must be done. And a lot of people don't know how to necessarily do it because we weren't taught how to do it. So what we do is we just do our best and, we sweep it under the rug and we get busy and we get distracted, and there's nothing wrong with this, but this is the time that's been prophesied for thousands of years to address this. And the tools are here, okay? This is a non-judgmental space. And when I deal with clients, it's a very safe space, but I go right into it. Somebody tells me their story within 2 minutes, I can see the wound. And it's not because I'm so great, and I don't heal anybody. I hold space for people to heal themselves through a very powerful mirroring process, because people will tell you what's wrong or what they're feeling. And that's the beauty of doing these one-on-one sessions and the honor of doing it. Because when people are willing to show up vulnerable and authentic and just admit, I don't know. I can't see why I keep creating this or why this keeps showing up. That's the opening. That's the doorway, And so inner healing in 99% of the cases just comes down to forgiveness. It's that simple. The ego is the only one that doesn't want to forgive, simply because it's been holding on to a story for decades and decades and decades of what somebody did to me, or how that happened, or how my father was abusive, or my mother, or my ex, or my sister, or somebody laughed at me or beat me up in third grade. I know. I had to, move through this stuff myself. I grew up in Catholic school. Every day was Judgment Day. It was brutal, dark energy disguised as love. It's weird. So if there's any questions around inner healing or forgiveness, this is a big one that everybody could relate to. I don't know if anybody wants to ask a question, but you're not going to be singled out. You're actually a hero. Anybody that asks the deeper questions, because I guarantee you that there's people watching these replays and watching them on my YouTube channel that are going, oh my God, I really needed to hear that today. Thank you so much. So you're really given a gift when you're willing to be open and vulnerable. So let me see what we have here. Cindy says, mass consciousness and how not to get tangled up in it. Great question. Okay, so in the Waking Up in the Dream course, I teach a very simple process, but it's one of the most life-changing processes that one will ever do. And the majority of people, well, let me be very careful with my words. Many people do not do it. And it is the art and the practice of consciously creating your reality every single morning as soon as you awaken from the sleeping dream. Because if you don't stop and breathe and love on every cell of your body that's been loving you unconditionally since you've been in the womb, and raise your vibration with a smile of gratitude because you get another day, and then envision everything that's going to show up in your reality that day, or something even better. You don't have to define it all down, but you get excited. And mine goes something like this. I'm so blessed. I'm loving on every one of my cells. I'm so grateful for this soft bed in my home, and running water, and energy, and the energy that's beating my heart and purifying my blood and running trillions of functions in my body every single moment. My vibration just keeps going up, 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 up. And then I'm like, and I see the most incredible people coming into my life every day, the most incredible animals, the most incredible food, the most incredible synchronicities, on and on and on. And I consciously create my day, and I track my frequency all day long. So I don't get tangled up in 3D. I only observe 3D. And I'm very careful that I don't allow myself to go down. I mean, I can go down rabbit holes because I've been going down them for 30 plus years. And I can observe and go, okay, that's pretty nasty. That's pretty dark. It's pretty interesting. However, if it's lowering my vibration, then I say no. Because the number one thing that we have in every moment is our magnet is on, and it's attracting something. One bad thought or one judgment or something may not pull in that like frequency, but if you're holding it in your subconscious and you're constantly running, these programs of I've got to fight 3D, and, we got to fight and take out the dark ones. And I used to be like that. I mean, many of you know I was a judgeaholic. I was taught to be that in Catholic school. I was pointing out everything that was wrong out there because I thought that's how we fixed it. But that's not really how we fix it. So many people are just pointing out what's wrong, but they're not really taking any action to do anything about it. Number one, they don't know how, and it seems overwhelming. So what happens is it's useless to be focusing on 3D when 5D and beyond is already here. So the trick is, the key is, where is my frequency right now? Rinse and repeat. Where is my frequency right now? And if you want to play a role in assisting of, removing some governments through the proper channels or doing things like that, and you can do it while holding your frequency at a high level and you're excited and you're not battling and you're not fighting, because that's 3D. That's how they get you. Moving into higher timelines, 5D and beyond, is non-judgment, non-fighting. There is no war. It's observing, compassion, and seeing and understanding that some people are wounded. Some people might just be dark. They might be satanic, evil, frickin' reptilians or whatever, okay? But if you get sucked into battling that, then your frequency automatically comes down to that level. So, yeah, it's the most empowering thing you can ever do, because if you do not get up and consciously create your day, you're basically pulling in yesterday in 3D with you. It doesn't mean that there's nobody on here or nobody in the world that's waking up and meditating and eating healthy fruits and vegetables and doing exercise and lighting their incense and being in gratitude and listening to the birds in their backyard and going. However, I'm talking about this loop of 50 to 80,000 thoughts that's running all day long for most people. And the way to consciously attract and magnetize more into your reality is to consciously see it is already here, first thing every morning, excitedly. And the more that you practice this, you know that it works. And the days that you don't do it, you'll find out that, oh, the synchronicities weren't really happening. I wasn't really, feeling that up today. And you'll just see your frequency is everything. And that's why 3D is set up to distract you. You need to buy this to be happy. You need to buy this makeup to look good. It's all a distraction. And so observing that and going, wow, isn't that interesting? First, it'll piss you off. But then when you learn that being pissed off is a low frequency, you don't want to hold that. So you go, all right, okay, I don't really necessarily like that, but I understand now that when I'm operating from the heart and I'm focusing on all the beauty around me and smiling at people and being grateful for my food and the water that comes out of my shower and the air and my body and all this incredible technology, and we're talking through thin air to people all over the world. We're connected. We can see that the shift is on. It's happening, and it's happening actually fast, but it doesn't appear that way to the ego. But if you look that this has taken thousands and thousands of years, you're seeing that people are frickin' popping. They're waking up. The old news stations are being taken down. They're starting to share truth. Networks are popping up. It's happening. And so you either go, yeah, I'm excited. I'm playing my role. The ego might go, well, it's not happening fast enough. I feel that sometimes too. I'm like, okay, I've been waiting for Nassar and Jassar and all the money to roll out and, the emergency broadcast system to finally expose everything and wake everything up. But it has to be done in a way so that people don't flip out. And so it's a drip, drip, drip. And that's what we're seeing. And so, again, it's a distraction if we're going, it's still not here yet. It's still not here yet. Oh, man, I can't be happy until this happens. Then that's just blowing away all this incredible that's happening right now. I mean, look at this. Right now, we got people on this call from all over the world that are aligned. They can feel this, and they're contributing to it. And just the fact that we're feeding these frequencies with a yes, even if you don't agree with me, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not saying, like my teacher Miguel said, don't believe me, don't believe yourself. But where's your frequency? Because that's creating your reality. Where's your focus? Because that's creating your reality. So this is a practice, and it's all it is. And waking up every morning and getting excited like a little child will do more to magnetize good health, abundance, magic, and miracles. And it's not even magical and miracles. It's you, the most powerful being ever created, remembering that you are creating your reality with your thoughts, your imagination, your words, your frequency, your vibration, and your beliefs. Because check this out about beliefs. I talk about the belief system. It's a prison. And for so many people, anything that challenges their belief system, the ego feels threatened, because it's like, well, I don't know. That's outside of my beliefs. So that makes me feel like I'm not in control. There is no control. It's a fake. You got to let go. And so you must understand that the belief system is a prison. And until you see that, you will never, or let me be careful with my words here, because I'm not interested in creating things that don't benefit us. However, this is why it's so important to watch the words that we speak, because they are creating. Okay, so if you do not believe something is possible, you will not create it. So what do you believe, or what do you feel? Do you play with the word unlimited? Because we are unlimited divine beings. There is no limitations. How many people do you know that are operating in an unlimited mindset? I know very few. And I've barely even scratched the surface of playing with unlimited. I write it down in big capital letters to remind myself, unlimited, unlimited. I am unlimited. Am I tapping into that? And it's not out of a greedy needing. Once you realize that you're it and you're creating everything, you don't need a bunch of money and all these things. You know, it's cool to have whatever you want that makes you happy, but you'll find out that it's not external things that really make you happy once you tune in to the magic all around you. And so, yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, because, you know, I don't know who wants to hear this. All I know is I'm reminding myself, and I'm just talking to Jeff at every time. Hey, Barrett, can you hear me now?
The technical issues.
There you are. Okay, Barrett's in the house. All right, cool. Thank you for your patience, brother. I saw you sitting in the, I guess we call it the green room. But yeah, so no problem. So how are you, brother? It's great to see you. Everybody send Barrett a lot of love, because it's 5:33 where he's at in
Bulgaria.
It's 9:33 where I'm at right now in Thailand in the future. Yeah. So what a perfect time for you to come on and join us. Well, so I love this guy, because this guy he embodies what the new Earth male is. He's 100% beautiful heart. He's kind. He's very observant. He's very gentle, but he's very powerful at the same time. And I salute you, brother. And thank you for getting up so early and coming on to do this. So you have anything you want to talk about? You have any questions or anything that we could dive into that might excite people or assist them? Or all right. What you got?
Just want to reflect a little bit on the 0 point energy, and how we can magnetize ourselves to be more anchored and to be present in the now moment.
Okay.
And for me, it's a celebration of knowing our point, our focal point on the planet, and what our work is all about, and what we're here to do, and to be really excited and to leave phenomenal footprints that excite others in the process. Can you tell us, your take, and I'll leave some of mine, how we can raise our vibrations more so people get more excited and have
Thank you, brother. I beautifully stated, and I love this term, and I'm going to cover what you brought up, which was you used the term 0 point. And this is a term that I hadn't really heard up until the last few years. And so for anybody that may not understand what 0 point is, 0 point is a place, well, I'll just describe it from my experience the best way I can. Somebody else might have a different description, but 0 point is when we're manifesting. 0 point is that crystal clear mind, and the way that I get to it is through the breath. When I'm breathing, or anytime I have a trigger or a judgment, this is the practice in the Waking Up in the Dream course, or whatever you want to call it, to stop. When we realize we've been triggered, we had a less than thought, or a wound has come up, or we have a fear, we stop and we immediately, I always put my hand on my heart, because that connects me and grounds me in with my body, lets me know I'm safe in this moment. And then I take a few slow, deep breaths. And while I do it, I smile, even if I'm pissed or I have a fear, because I know that that relaxes every cell in my body. So every one of these trillions of cells is alive, and they're consciously aware of every thought and every feeling. So it's very key to be in tune with that. So when we breathe and we feel into our heart, it brings us out of our head and it brings us down into our heart. The breath stops the mind from running of, oh, they did this or they did that, or whatever the emotional trigger is. The breath is the key. This is why meditation is so important. Yeah, it is. And so 0 point is when we breathe and stop the mind from running. Now we're in this powerful, powerful place where we're not in the future and we're not in the past. And that is the most powerful place to consciously heal something, clear something, thank something, or to consciously create our reality. So when we wake up in the morning and our head's still lying on the pillow, before we get out of bed and all those 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running, the most empowering thing to do is to breathe love into every cell, to thank every one of those cells that's been loving on you, beating your heart, purifying your blood, doing trillions of functions while you've been asleep. You don't even have to think about it. And they've been doing this for us since we've been in the womb. And it's like many people can't even wrap their head around what an incredible, magnificent thing this body is. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself all the time. But it's why I do mirror exercises every day, and I have everybody that goes through the course do it, and it's in the book. It's like, I love you. I love you. And you'll know if you love yourself when you look into your eyes in the mirror and you say, I love you. What messages come back? Yeah, you don't really love yourself. You're just doing that. I love you. Yeah, but you did all this stupid shit. I love you. Yeah, but I love you. It's it. And you begin to notice how the ego, and I don't know if everybody's named their ego yet. I named mine Larry. And so I can see what Larry does and the programs that he still may be running that are fear-based, negative, controlling, bitchy, whatever, just safety programs, trying to be in control. And so it's super, super key to learn and practice getting into the 0 point, because that is where your power is, our power is. And getting into 0 point with excitement and gratitude is like, that's manifesting. That's it. That's when your magnet is fully, fully on. Do you have anything you want to add to that, brother?
No, I think eloquently put, brother. And when you're present, because you're 100% authentic, and authenticity is the key, and people are more receptive and they're more open towards your energy, and they're more likely to drop their guard, which is the protection that they have. They have this firewall around them, and that just dissolves, and there's no need to protect themselves. What are they protecting themselves from at the end of the day? And you just become more open and more giving, and you're just in that moment of being here and present, and that is the ultimate waking up in the game, or shall we say the dream state.
Beautiful.
That's so powerful.
Beautiful. Yeah. What else you got?
Well, it's like, how do we know when we're truly present? What kind of feedbacks are we going to get? Are people going to smile more, or is it the fact you're smiling more and people are going to be more in the now as well? I mean, how do you know what is the actual barometers as such? Because this
Great
is our
question.
feedback. How do we know when we?
Feeling, feeling. This whole game is about tracking our frequency and conscious awareness. It's the only game in town. And so when we learn to feel the frequency of every thought, every word, every emotion, and that's what the process is. That's why I have people go through the process and they actually track every day, every judgment, every fear, every doubt, every trigger. And at the end of the day, there's a daily tracking sheet that comes with the book and the course. You just simply fill out your numbers, and then there's a few simple questions. There's no difficult homework. It's not hard. This is not difficult, people. This is very, very simple. There's 3 little pieces to this journey that will raise your conscious awareness and begin to get you so aware of when you're in or out. And it just becomes a practice. And when you realize that that's all there is to it, then you go, okay, it's totally worth me waking up in the morning and consciously setting the tone of my day before I do anything else, before I even step 1 foot out of bed to go to the bathroom. I consciously set how my day is going to go. And I do it with love, and I do it with excitement, because I know when I do what happens. And so then, next thing, if you really want to be on it, set 15 alarms on your phone to go off every hour. I set mine at like 8:44, 9:33, 10:11, 12:12. I like to play with numbers, because when I play with numbers, guess what? They play with me, just like they did when Barrett came on after the technical difficulties, and it was 9:33 exactly. I couldn't have made that up. I didn't look up at my computer any other time. And it just, the universe starts to talk back to you, because it's you. It's you. And so how do you know where your frequency is? You ask yourself, am I in my heart? Am I grateful? Am I excited? And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you if you're not walking around excited all day long, but that's the place to get to. And that's what we're moving into. People aren't going to have to be working these jobs, for 8 and 12, 16 hours a day just to survive. We're moving into free energy very quickly. We're going to be moving into community gardens very quickly. This is going to be a celebration. We're not going to have to pay to live on the planet. That's one of the most diabolical enslavement ripoff deals that was ever done to us. This is happening now. And as I say this, if your mind goes, I'll believe it when I see it, then just notice that your ego is not assisting you right now. Your ego is frustrated, it's upset, and it's not liking it. And that is a low frequency. So just notice it and go, can I get excited? And what if I woke up every morning and went, I know New Earth is here. I see it. I see messages all over the internet. I see people talking about it. I see new products, new healthy things coming out, med beds, everything they're talking about, free energy. All these things are being exposed that have been hidden. I see it. It's happening. And if I focus on that and get excited about that, I'm amplifying the entire field for everybody. Instead of going, I'll believe it when I see it, fuck, I've been waiting so long and I got all these problems. And, we've all done it. Okay? But give yourself some love, but track that frequency. Even if you got to fake it till you make it, believe it, then you'll see it. Not, I'll believe it when I see it. That's 3D. That's the magician's trick of some statements so you won't see it. But your ego feels really justified in saying, I'll believe it when I see it. because it's got all this emotional energy built up behind it, and you haven't trained yourself to recognize that all that's doing is pulling you down and just keeping you stuck in the loop. So feel that and go, okay, that doesn't feel very life-changing. And then go, okay, how can I shift it? And you may be pissed off. There may be some healing that needs to be done. You may need to go out and scream in the woods. You may need to kneel down in front of your bed on your knees, stack some pillows, and pound this shit out. You must do the inner healing and release any pissed off energy, any lack of resentment, any lack of forgiveness. You got to release that stuff, or it's going to keep you stuck, because these energies do not exist in 5D and beyond. Judgment does not exist. Hatred, the lowest frequency ever, doesn't exist. It's really, really key. All right, so check this out. Holly has a great question. What action do you take the moment you realize you're out of conscious awareness to get back to 0 point? I think I just explained it, didn't I? Okay, let me explain it in the exact step-by-step process that I take people through in the 30-day mentorship. And this is in the book, and it's in the digital online course with the PowerPoint videos that'll get you to see the program running really clearly. They're really powerful. People love them. And when you finally see the program running, that's when it gets dismantled. But we can't dismantle a program unless we can see it, because it'll just keep justifying and doing what it's doing. So here's the exact step-by-step thing. Catch a trigger, judgment, less than thought, fear, lack, worry. You can feel it. So what do? You stop. You take a few slow breaths, stop that story from running up here, drop into your heart, and then you ask yourself the priceless question. What is this trying to show me or teach me about me? Because it's trying to get your attention. And the beautiful thing about the soul journey, which can be frustrating, is it'll keep giving you the same lesson over and over and over and over, because its only job is to get you to realize that you're an infinite, unlimited creator being. Say that again. You are an infinite, unlimited being. How many people believe that? It's okay if you're not sure, but I invite you to begin to play, keyword play, with that. So anytime you're out, you get triggered into judgment, it's about you. It's not about the other person out there. That's the trick of the hologram. It's reversed. Most people think that out there is doing things to them. Well, there are things going on, such as all this bullshit food, shortage, and, these poisonous V's and all this stuff. However, stepping into becoming the conscious observer is where your power is, because an automatic reactor, that's fight mode, fight or flight mode. That's going to keep you stuck and looping. You don't have to like what's going on out there, but your power lies in going, okay, so I'm going to remove the only thing that could keep me in low frequency vibration, which is my focus on that. I'm going to focus on, hey, look at that flower. Look at these plants. Oh my God, this food tastes so incredible. I've got water. All I have to do is turn on a faucet and I have water that washes all over me. What a miracle that is. Look at electricity. There's a million things you can find to reset and re-amplify in every moment. So again, the process is notice the low frequency, judgment, doubt, trigger, thought, feeling, emotion. Stop. Tune into your body. Take some slow, deep breaths to stop the emotional trigger or story from running. And then go, okay, I release that. Thank you for showing me where I still have something to let go of. Thank you. And you can even be pissed off and go, thank you, I'm pissed. But do the process, even if your ego still wants to be pissed and is resistant. Otherwise, you're just going to attract that same thing over and over and over again until you clear it. Great question. Thank you for that. Yeah. What else you got, brother?
Yeah, can you expand more on how significantly important it is to put the right fuel in the body? Because if we put low vibrating fuel in the body, our focus and awareness is not going to expand as well. So do you feel it's important to put good?
Dude, you tell us. Preach, brother.
Well,
You know what's going on. I
yeah,
appreciate you beautifully feeding me questions, but you know this stuff, so share your wisdom,
well,
because and I'll just state, many of you may know that I lived in my recording studios in San Diego mainly for over 25 years. And that's how I built up my gear, so I didn't have to pay rent for a separate house. And you weren't allowed to live there, but I lived there, and my landlord was cool. And, back then, I was eating out all the time. I was eating so much fast food, Jack in the Box. I mean, a lot. And it's amazing that my wonderful, beautiful body has served me so incredibly well, because I was eating food and I wasn't aware back then at all of the frequency and vibration of food or water or even thoughts for that matter. But now I am. And so I'm very careful what I put into my body. It was very frustrating in the beginning. I know a lot of people that have shifted from eating meat and pork and stuff because they don't want to harm animals, or they just know that stuff's got stuff injected in it and all that stuff. And I'm not judging anybody wherever you're at on your path, because you'll get somebody who'll pop in and go, well, I tried not eating meat, but my body has to have it. Whatever. If you believe that, then whatever. You'll do whatever you're supposed to do. If you begin to track your frequency, it'll tell you sooner or later if you're done with that stuff. And you don't have to beat yourself up, and you don't really need to explain yourself to anybody else. It's good to be aware of, I used to eat a lot of junk food because it tasted good, and I was addicted. I used to eat bags of Doritos. My mom used to buy Ho-Hos and Ding Dongs and just sugar-filled stuff because my mom was cool and loving, but I wouldn't go just eat one. I'd sneak back and eat the whole box. I was addicted to sugar. I was addicted to salt. I was addicted to all those potato chips and Doritos and frickin' Cheetos, and I would eat a whole bag. I couldn't just eat a little bit. And so it's amazing that the only reason I was able to pull out of it is because I realized that the frequency of it is just low. It's dead food. And how can your body survive on dead food? I mean, we can do it for a while because the body is so magnificent, but sooner or later, and I'm not saying it's going to, because I'm not going to project that into anybody's reality, but it could begin to break down. So the great news is we've got all these incredible frequencies and energies coming into the planet like never before. We've got information everywhere, although it can be interesting and sometimes challenging to do a search on the web and see that almost everything on Gaggle is a lie and is manipulated and deceptive to tell you the opposite of what's really good for you. And they tell you that what's bad for you is actually good. You see this. So it's okay. We're finding other ways. There's other avenues that are popping up, other truth avenues where we can, get that information. And again, use your internal truth barometer to figure out what's right for you. Yeah. And be gentle with yourself. That's the key. Because a lot of times, if we've been used to eating or drinking something for a long time, it can be a little bit tough because the body's used to it. It's getting getting some type of payoff from drinking alcohol, which I used to do all the time. I used to drink beer almost every day. I loved getting high, and I did a lot of stupid shit on alcohol. Okay. And then when I realized it was one of the lowest vibrations and it's got entities, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And there were many times that I went back to it and had to relearn the lesson over and over and over again before I just went, dude, do you get it? You can't put this stuff in your body any longer. And it's an individual choice for everybody. Yes, brother.
I was going to say, if I can add something to that, and the more present you are in yourself, and the more ecstatic you are, and know the awe, and you'll notice that reference to the word parasites. These parasites that are living are thriving on low vibrating frequencies, and their main food is dense food. So the more light foods you eat, you'll become more present, and these parasites will leave the body. Literally, you'll flush them out, and you'll notice when you flush them out, because you yourself, you're going to feel more lightheaded, and that fogginess will just begin to dissolve. So that's the experience that I had, and it's true. Yeah, it's
Beautifully shared, because everything is attracted to a certain frequency. And so again, let's raise our frequency by being excited, being grateful, being compassionate, being kind. I know Barrett and I, had a conversation the other day where we talk about going out and just smiling at everybody. And, it's not because we're so great and we're such wonderful people. It's because I live in Thailand, okay? I don't speak hardly any Thai. And I live out in the middle of nowhere, where in the country where it's heaven. However, my way to communicate with people, my number one way, is through my eyes and through my smile. And I can even see people riding the opposite way. Out here where I live, there's a lot of people that ride scooters, motorbikes, because it's warm here every day. It's just beautiful. And so these people that don't even know you, I'm going 40 miles that way, 40 miles an hour. They call it kilometers an hour here. And they're coming same speed the other way. And there's like 1 or 2 seconds where you can actually see the eyes. And when you smile at somebody, and even the majority of these people are still wearing a mask, because they're very, I don't like the word, but they're very influenced by the television, because in Thailand, people are very trusting. There's a Buddhist temple on every corner. Some of you have seen pictures of me with, gold Buddhas behind me that are 3 stories tall. And I do a lot of my Facebook lives from one of my favorite temples down the street. But these people are very trusting. But the point is, when you go out and you smile at somebody, these people, even though they're coming the other way and they only see you for 1 second, it's fascinating to watch that they pick up on the smile, it goes into their mind, and they immediately smile back 99% of the time. It's the magic of frequency and the magic of love. And it shows you that it happens so quick. There's no processing of any information of thinking. They're not like, who is this guy? I don't know him. What's he smile? No, it's just they feel the smile. It goes into their heart and they smile back within a split second. And if that isn't proof that the frequencies are bypassing the thought process, which is so beautiful. And, there's people, whatever you want to call them, that they don't even have to speak. They're on other planets or whatever. They communicate telepathically. And there's planets where everybody can read everybody else's thoughts. So isn't that interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting if everybody could read everybody's thoughts here? I think that would be a little bit out of control maybe. But yeah. So just some stuff to play with, Are you smiling at people? One of the things that I love to do is when I scroll through Facebook, I used to have Larry decide, it was just an automatic, Larry's my ego's name, who should get a like or a love or a care. And it's very interesting to watch how your mind decides who is worthy of your love and whether or not what they're sharing is important compared to something else or whatever. So I noticed this program, and so I give everybody a love. Because guess what? Everybody is me. Everybody that I'm deciding if I should give them my love or my worth, that's me. And so even if I don't have no interest in what they're sharing, I mean, if they're sharing dark stuff or negative stuff, I just unfollow. I don't really have that stuff in my feed. Now, again, I'll go down the rabbit hole and I support everybody that's sharing the deeper stuff that everybody else is afraid to share, like, child sacrifice or pedophilia. I mean, this needs to be exposed, people, but not by fighting it. There's people out there that are actually going into the underground dumbs and tunnels and in the Vatican and doing this stuff. You can call them white hats, whatever. And we send them all our love and our light. However, it's interesting to observe next time you're scrolling through Facebook or walking in a supermarket or around people, deciding who is worthy of love, deciding who's beautiful, who's not, who's overweight, all this labeling stuff that the ego does that we've been programmed into through the advertisements and the programming of the 3D matrix. So it really comes down to, are you in your heart? And how much can you be in your heart each day? My favorite words are gratitude, kindness, compassion, love, and my favorite one is excitement, because to me that's the highest frequency. You may have one that's more than that. Yeah. So I intend that people are getting some benefit out of what we're sharing, because to me, this is the only game in town. Being here, being grateful, and consciously creating your reality. However, you must believe it in order to see it. You must feel worthy. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, one of the most uplifting experiences I've ever had and continue to have when you're walking, when you're really present and a stranger gives you a hug, and you know that you're really present, and they just take your energy, and you make such a difference in their lives. So that's just a phenomenal barometer that when you're walking the talk and being so present, you're going to shake people up, and they will see the immensity of the authenticity and the love for self, and they'll want that part of that, so that's key. It's
And I know that happens to you a lot. I know you probably don't want me
No, that's
focusing on
okay.
you because you're very
Yeah.
humble, but that
Some
happens to
people,
you a lot because of the energy you carry when you're around people.
yeah, and some people are blocked still, and they're resisting, and I appreciate that resistance, because they're in that survival mode situation, and they get triggered, whether they're not quite sure, is it safe to come out,
Right.
and I respect that, but yeah, no, it truly is, Jeff, to be so excited about the becoming vibrational frequency, the new energies that are coming, and
That are here.
yeah, it's
That are here
awesome.
now.
They are, and people are beginning to wake up to that, and and they will celebrate more and more as they become more receptive to the now, and they realize it is, like Jeff just said, it is always here and now. It's just tuning into it. That's the name of the game.
It's so interesting to observe the programming of the 3D matrix, because I was on a call yesterday with a really amazing guy, and we're going through the journey, the 30-day journey, for the second time. And we were touching on how the ego, it always seems to find the thing that's wrong. There's all these millions of evidence that things are amazing and incredible and abundant, but the ego always seems to point out what's wrong. And I used to be famous for that. I was a judgeaholic. I mean, that's why I wrote a whole chapter on judgment and how to dismantle it, because it is the biggest addiction on the planet by far, way more than drugs and alcohol or eating sugary food. Or judgment it's the biggest addiction, and we must be able to see that in order to clear it, because judgments don't exist in 5D and beyond. So you could be, it's not to say you're not going to be able to be in 5D or anything. We're going in and out of timelines. We've gone in and out of millions of them since we've been on this call. Every single moment is a different timeline. Boom, 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 boom. However, as long as we're still holding judgments, resentments, lack of forgiveness, we're going to dip back down, because our frequency determines the timelines that we're on. So the only game is, how can I get to the place where I'm like a little child and I'm just excited and I'm grateful in every moment? And if you think you can't get there, then observe that lie. Well, there's no way to get there because the world's so screwed up and all. Really? Is that true? Are you sure? Is that your story? Because if it is, that's what you're going to create more of. And that's going to be the timeline that you're going to end up in, with all the complainers and all the people that get together and agree how shitty and wrong everything is. And I used to be one of those guys. I had a great heart. I've always been a pretty sweet guy. But I've also been an empath too, and I could really feel things really strongly, and they hit me hard. So I was like trying to figure out how to stop them. And I thought pointing out everything that was wrong was the way to do it, but that just drags you down and keeps you in that. So the invitation from both of us is, let's move forward being a little bit kinder, being a little bit sweeter, being a little less judgmental on ourselves and everybody else. And really, I don't know about you guys, but I put up stickies and notes and stuff. I put reminders. I've got them on my phone, on my alarm. Where's your frequency right now? And I'm like, I'm happy. I'm out in nature. Or I'm in here and I've been on the computer for 6 hours and I'm getting a little bit edgy. I'm feeling the energies and I'm like, dude, it's time to take a break. Go outside, take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground. I have a beautiful water fountain that I bought out in front of my front patio here. And I got little fish in there, and I go talk to them, and it's trippy. They know when I show up. It could be because I bring food, in the morning, but everything is responding to our energy. Everything. And, when we become aware that this is the only game in town, is tracking our frequency and having fun, then we start to attract more evidence that we're on the right track. Love is the highest frequency. Love, excitement, gratitude, kindness, compassion. So, any questions around that? Any questions around healing anything? Let me talk about spell words. Actually, okay, so this is one of the topics that I love, because once I share this with people that are going through the journey with me, the 30-day journey, they get it. They get it. Even if they've been, and most of us have been using, well, let me catch that word most, because I don't want to project that. Many of us have been using these spell words because we were taught to. In my language, which is English, they were intentionally placed into the English language, so we would just say them and use them. That's the word that I use when I want to say this or that. However, what people don't realize is there's these spell words that are telling the subconscious, giving them a command that whatever you desire is not here yet. It's not here yet. It's not here yet. And those words are try, want, wish, hope, need. Every one of those words tells your subconscious, which can only take a direct command. For the subconscious, this is really key to understand. Your desire is either here now or it's not. That's it. So that's why when you wake up in the morning and get excited and love on your body and raise your frequency and smile, and you envision all these incredible people, abundance, I can just give it away, health, excitement, magic, miracles, synchronicities, it's here now. My new business, whatever, it's here now. Why? Because the subconscious must see it is here now, or it's going to remain in the future. So when people get on a call with me and they start to tell me their story of what they want to fix, clear, heal, whatever they're up against, or the new business they want, whatever, they'll use words like, I'm trying, I'm going to, I need, I hope, I wish. And all these words are spell words. They're all weak words that give your subconscious the command that I'm not in power and it's not here yet. Yeah. So what do we replace these words with? Okay. I am. I have. It's done. I never say I'm trying. That means you're not. You either do or you don't. Now, you might think this is nitpicky. Your ego might be going, oh, whatever. My ego probably would have done that a long time ago. But it's important to understand that, again, manifestation is actually quite simple. How many people does that trigger? That would have triggered me big time. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on all the books on manifestation, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, EFT tapping, money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Stuff never worked for me. Never worked. Why? Because nothing taught me how to go in and identify the underlying subconscious belief. And the underlying subconscious belief is what's running the entire show. You can do affirmations all day long, but if you have a program underneath like I did around lack and money's difficult, because my dad died when I was 7, my uncle had 8 kids. Everything was about lack, about money. You better eat that last pea on your plate because there's starving kids. You've heard this stuff. So if there is a subconscious belief underneath, you can tell yourself you're abundant and you can recite that all day long. It's not going to override the subconscious. And that's why it's so important to go in and do this inner healing. And again, it's easy. Manifestation is easy. Anybody that thinks manifestation is difficult doesn't understand the process. And this used to be me, 100%. Because I tried everything. And it wasn't until I understood, okay, there's no trying. There's simply, am I excited about that which I desire? Is it for my highest good? And I don't need to work hard. It doesn't need to be difficult. There doesn't need to be any struggle. Those are all 3D beliefs and programs that make it so. When I go, I just envision it like a little child. I get excited about it with my imagination. I don't let any no's pop in. And if it's supposed to come to me for my highest good, it will. If not, I don't worry about it because I understand how the dream works. And something much better will usually come along if what I thought I desired didn't come along. And when you begin to trust in that, there's no more struggle. There's no more hard work. There's no more trying. Can you feel that? The faces we make when we say this shit? It's constricted energy. It's sticky. It's low. That's why people love little children when they get excited and playful, because there is no. until they get programmed by the school system. And that's something that Baron and I are very passionate about. We're going to be getting this into a completely new school system. I don't even like the word school. Oh, I love it, brother. You printed it out. I love that. Show that one more time, would you please? Because if you go to my website and people ask me all the time, do you have a hard copy of your book? And I'm like, I don't have a publisher right now because they're all like the recording industry. They want to take 80% of everything. And I'm like, no. So, you know, I'm selling books on my website every day almost, thankfully. And I'm not even on Scamazon or anywhere else. But so for a couple dollars, you can print it out like that and take notes in it and read it away from the computer. Because I get asked that all the time. Do you have a hard copy of your book? And some people get frustrated. And because I don't have a hard copy, they don't want to order the book. So they miss out on the information. And, you know, I understand that it's a choice. But it's the information that's in there. It's so simple. This book, everything's reversed in my camera. I feel retarded right now. Ooh, it's so tiny. Look at this. You could read through this in a day. The key is not to get to the end of the book right away, because that's what the mind wants to do. I used to buy every spiritual top book and I'd read it and my mind would go, this is really good. This is really good. This is really good. But most of them didn't teach me how to go in and undo the subconscious programming. So I would just go buy the next book and the next book and the next book. This will stop that. I'm not saying you'll never need to read another book again, but you go through this process, the 3 steps, inner healing, dismantling the belief system, and then consciously creating your reality every day. And you watch the trainings that will get you to see the program and how Larry runs and does what he does. You'll be like, oh my God, almost everybody's running that program. And once you see it, it won't be able to do what it does anymore. It's very, very powerful. So anyway, brother, you have anything else? And again, if anybody has any questions before we go, because we've been going over an hour now, and I appreciate everybody staying on. And also, I want to ask or request, if anybody would like to share this live for anybody that you think would benefit. A lot of people see these later on because they're in different time zones. I know right now in the US, it's like 8 p.m. in California, and it's past 11 on the East Coast. But I really, really appreciate it. And when I come back later on today, there'll always be somebody that says, I'm watching the replay. Thank you so much. That's what I needed to hear today. And it just makes everything so worthwhile, because we're assisting others with this really valuable information, because these are the tools. I mean, this is really the only game in town. And I don't say that with an ego. It's like, this is it. You know, we're on here, we're mirroring each other, we're holding space, we're all contributing, and we're all uplifting the vibration together. And that's what we're here to do. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Jelf's in the house. Oh, it's starting to pour rain outside. I can hear it coming down on my roof. I love it. It's so tropical here in Thailand. So great. We're just getting into the rainy season. What else would you like to share from your beautiful heart wisdom, brother?
I just want to thank the universe, because I know I'm doing something right in this world when I attract people like Brother Jeff to be in my life, and to be a family. And by the way, just quickly, if I can just throw in this one, and it's a tough one to master, but your book really solidified this, that for me, the fear-based energy is a program that's running, actually, and I embrace it, because it's there to test the limits of your soul, and because to understand the essence of the opposite polarity, in other words, to understand the essence of sweet, you have to experience sour, and then it's our job to bring it into balance and equilibrium. And so for that, I'm really, really grateful and the show is extremely exciting, and I'm so privileged to be amongst yourselves, and to bring the children into this new arena where all of what Jeff said, the control mechanisms will not have the power anymore, and just peace and love, and watch that space, because it's really, really here and now. It's no more waiting game anymore. It's not waiting for it to come. It's here now.
I just love this guy. Everybody just send this guy a bunch of love right now, because he is so sweet. He never talks about what he's doing behind the scenes. He's doing a lot. And I only know that because he's become, like a brother to me. And, I'm really grateful to Facebook. You can talk about Zuck or Soros or whatever, but I'll tell you what, this is the platform. And this platform has connected me with people all over the world, some of my dearest, closest friends, most of them that I've never met in person. And so I'm super grateful, because I don't care what their agenda was. It's a CIA thing to track everybody's information, whatever, track this, but I love it. And, I would have not met this sweet, genuine man or anybody else on this call. Oh, Elizabeth is here. I love you so much. Here's another one of my dear friends. This woman is incredible. Everybody should friend her, because she is walking love. She's dynamite. And I just love her to death. No, well, I love her to life. Be careful with those words. But okay, and we have another question. I want to talk about one thing real quick, though. Barrett brought up the children, which is a huge piece of what we're going to be moving forward with, because, some people might see me comment to homeschool and pull your kids out of this system. And a lot of parents will say, well, I can't. I've got a job and there's no way I can do that. And I'm like, okay, well, the good news is that these school systems are imploding. I mean, I see systems where they're trying to introduce weird sexual storytelling, and I mean, the most horrific satanic stuff ever into the children. They're trying to do this gender thing, right? It's not going to work, but it's really pushing right now. So when we teach the kids the tools in this book at an early age, okay, their life is going to be worlds away from somebody that goes through 12 to 16 years of programming, getting programmed what to think, instead of keeping their imagination as their number one gift, their own special gifts that they bring into the planet. And when we teach them at a very, very young, the youngest age, what an emotional trigger is, and that their thoughts and their words and their emotional frequency or excitement is what's creating their reality, and that kindness and compassion and being loving are the most important things on the planet, watch how quickly everything shifts. And so this is why we're really excited about that, because we are observing the dismantling and the crumbling of literally thousands of years, if not more, of, there's no easy way to say it, enslavement programming. Go to school for 12 to 16 years and then pay and go into huge debt so you can become part of the club. So then what? It even gets better, so that you can give up 65 of the best years of your life to become, what's the spell word? Retired. You think that word is a mistake? Think about it. Meaning to recycle. Tired, you know what that is. So at 65, you can hope, spell word, that your wishes, spell word, of having a home and enough money, and then you can finally start living your life. If you don't see that as like the most diabolical frickin' program of life stealing, I don't know. But the good news is people are seeing it. And the internet has blown this thing wide open. Now we can create and share our gifts. I never use the word WORK. I never use that word. It's got a very heavy energy to it. So I caught it. I was going to use it. And I'm like, no. I can feel it coming. Once you play with these spell words a little bit and write them down, you'll start to catch them and you'll never use them again. You'll never use them again. Can you guys hear the rain coming down? You probably can't, but it's so great. So Sarah had a question, and because people ask questions, I want to make sure that I get to them. So thank you, Sarah. So how does someone figure out exactly what underlying old programs are running? Great question. Triggers, worries, doubts. And I don't know if you were on at the beginning, but I always touch on inner healing. And in 99% of the cases, inner healing comes down to, have you forgiven everyone, including yourself? And I invite everybody on this call right now to just do a sweep. Ask, have I forgiven every single person? And what am I able to thank them for perfectly playing their role on my agreed upon, keyword, agreed upon soul contract? And see what comes up. Because if you haven't forgiven somebody, it'll come up right away. Yeah, well, I still can't forgive my father because he abused me and he was a drunk alcoholic, or I journey with people that have been through the most horrific things. And I don't tell them to thank that person, because that might be a little bit extreme. But you got to understand that you've got to clear and heal the energy through forgiveness. Because we may have done that to them in another lifetime. We may have been the murderer, the thief, the rapist, whatever. The key is, that was part of your soul contract. And I know when somebody first told me this, I was like, no way. There's no way I would have ever chosen to go through this much pain and suffering. That was just my ego responding naturally with its protection mechanism, that it would never have chosen that in its right mind, of course. But this journey is deeper than what the ego knows. And anybody that's here right now came and chose to be here, anybody on this call at least, or watching this replay, because you're playing your role in the grand awakening. Otherwise, none of this stuff I'm talking about would interest you. I would trigger you and you would have scrolled on a long time ago. So how does someone figure out exactly what the underlying programs are? Okay. Do you still have fears? I mean, a lot of us still have that, but the key is to gently look at what's coming up. And I do this, and I invite people that journey with me through the course of the program to journal. Because just journaling, things will come up, and they'll give you an opportunity to look at them and to address them. But mostly it's triggers, fears, lack of forgiveness, do I have trouble speaking my truth around people? What are the things that keep you contracted? Because those are the wounds based on things that happened to you, and you had to protect yourself, usually at a young age, in order to survive and not be targeted or, judged by your parents or the school system or people. So I intend that helps you. If you have another question around that for clarification, pop it in real quick. And I think we're about good. Do you have anything else you want to add, brother?
No, I just want, some people reference to the word pain, they want to mask it or they suppress it. and it's important to feel the pain and go to that area where it's causing the blockage, and just send more love. If I've got pain here, I just go there and I put both my hands on that area. And usually what triggers it is most probably old underlying issues. And so just go there and send love. And it does wonders for me personally. I can only share what's working for me, and it does really well, you know.
Beautiful. One of my favorite statements, because I like simplicity, is feeling is healing.
Yeah.
When you can just become present, and you may not know what the you may not remember what the underlying wound is or whatever, but just by bringing presence to a trigger or a wound or some pain. And then it's always good to ask, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to know? Show me.
Sometimes it's guilt, because sometimes for me it was, and because I just feel sometimes I don't do enough in the world. So, or, you know, so you feel guilty inside. But when you're 100% present, that guilt just melts away, and because you're flying the flag. What am I guilty about? I'm flying the flag for everyone. I'm holding the torch. See, that begins to dissolve. So
Yeah.
just like brother said, feel it, and then you don't need to take, you know, tablets and things to suppress it even more and build more and more layers. You know.
Yeah. Good point.
Deal with it
Good.
here and now.
Beautiful. Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for getting up really early. And thank you for all your beautiful conversations this week as we begin to put together this school system for children and parents. You know, and I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know that it's coming, and I know that I'm not the only one that can see that the system is completely broken, and it's time to shift that. So I'm just grateful to play a role, because the tools are totally life changing. And I just want to let anybody know that doesn't. I journey with people every month, just a handful, and every month I open up 4 or 5 spots for this 30-day transformation. And it's not only one call a week like a lot of mentors do. It's 30 days of really mirroring back and forth. And you might think, well, I don't have that much time. We're just in Messenger. It's just quick messages. But I love doing this because I've learned where to go with people. And we can identify and clear things so quickly that you'll just be like, oh my God. To me, it's completely life-changing. And, you know, even for people, I love this testimony, because this is a real good representation. And I love this because this person says, I thought I was awake. Most people that claim to be awake to them means I can see that the government and, you know, the money systems and the medical system and history is all pretty much a lie. But this course gave me the tools to see programs and beliefs that were running underneath the surface that I was not even aware of. And my ego would defend and justify them again and again, causing the same dramas to repeat. I love this testimonial. Why? Because it's authentic. It's vulnerable. It's authentic. It's like, this is what happens. The ego wants to be in control. And so I was able to heal deeply hidden wounds from childhood and dismantle so many limiting beliefs. I go in to the belief system like, this happens so quickly. To me, it's just, and I don't ever want to come off as an egotist, because it took me over 20 years to put this together. I apprenticed with Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of The 4 Agreements and the Mastery of Love, for 7 years. And I mean, it was even longer than that, but I mean, really in it, to where we're like getting together every month in the 3-day dreaming weekends, and a lot of the other amazing Toltec teachers. I mean, this stuff is like dismantling the dream and the programs. this is the fastest route that I've ever found. And so if anybody's interested, feel free to reach out or go to the link here, Portal to Awakening, and just contact me. So I really want to thank you, brother, again.
Thank you.
And I look forward to connecting with you soon. And thank you, everybody that stayed on here this long. Thank you, everybody that contributed. Thank you to everybody that was courageous enough to ask questions. And I'll post Sarah's comment here. I'm getting to the point where I can recognize that I'm triggered. Yeah. Okay. Well, I invite you, if you haven't, to get a copy of the book or do the online digital course. It's super affordable. And once you begin to track the triggers and watch the PowerPoint presentations, you'll start to see the program like really quick. And once you see it, it'll lose all its power and it'll start to be dismantled. It doesn't mean it won't pop up once in a while, but you'll see it immediately and it will have no more power over you. So thank you for your comment. Thank you for your authenticity, because it helps everybody else. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today and be back in a couple days on Thursday, U.S. time. So big love to everybody. And yeah, if you want to share this with anybody you think that would benefit, and I don't know who wouldn't, but thank you. Thank you, brother. We'll catch up soon. Everybody have a great rest of your evening or day, wherever you're at. Big love from Thailand. Stay excited. Wake up every morning and consciously create your reality. See it as here now. And if you wake up and you've had weird dreams or something, like sometimes happens, then use your breath to stop that from running. Smile and love on all these cells. And see how much you can love on yourself. See how much you can love on yourself. That's not ego. That's really tuning in to the beauty of who you are. Okay? And it will amplify your frequency and begin to magnetize things to you like quick. So big love. Thanks, everybody. Catch up soon.